That one's scary, but I'm going to show it anyways. So I decided to start drawing faces again. It's been about a couple months since I started doing more studies of drawing some portraits, and I just wanted to talk about what I have been doing with those recently. So when I started out, I think I was doing some figure sketches just to practice. And I decided, you know what? I want to try drawing a portrait and see how that comes out. It came out okay. And then I worked on it a little bit more, and it still was okay. I'm like, you know what? I want to get better at this. So I decided to start drawing more. I decided to maybe draw some other artists' drawings, like study them. So these blue drawings were drawings from an artist named Christoph Young. I really liked his realistic rendering, but also these drawings were not completely realistic. I don't know, the realistic rendering and drawings. So I copied those. They weren't exactly right on, but they were pretty close. That's kind of where I started trying to take the studies a little more seriously. And then I did a portrait drawing kind of in the same style almost. The eyes are a little odd, but you get the idea. That's kind of where I started. And then I decided to try and find more reference resources, and I found a few. It's really hard to find like good portrait resources. Let me know if you have any in the comments that you like. But I stumbled upon one that was a timer that had figures, portraits, and some other things. But mostly focused on those two. I'll put a link for that below. There is some not safe for work stuff there, so be careful. The portrait one should be fine. So I used those, and they had a timer on it, and you can also upload your own photos. So you could do whatever you want with it, use it for studying whatever. But I found it difficult since I didn't have my own references, like to upload there. It made it harder to do much beyond that. But for a few days, I did a study method where I'm like, you know what? Let's see if I can do as many of these as quickly as possible. So I did 1 minute studies with the timer. I did about 10 of those. And then I did another 10 minutes of 2 minute studies, so 5 of those. And then 2 5-minute ones. And then it was either I did more 5-minute ones or 10-minute ones after that. But the point was to do a bunch of them quickly and then slow down a little bit once I get the speed going a little bit. Even though they were terrible, like I'm not trying to make them good. I'm just trying to get through them to kind of get the repetition, get the idea of proportions where things lined up. And it slowly helped. I think it helped quite a bit. And then I decided to focus on just the eyes because I was struggling with that. And I did that. I worked on that for a day, which each day that I spent on them was about 20 minutes to an hour. It varied around there. Well, that's what I was doing. Here's where I start doing the 1 minute sketches. Not terrible, but not too bad either. And the 2 minute one, and then a handful of 5-minute ones. So I did the repetition and then slowed it down by still trying to get through the numbers quickly and not getting hung up on the bad ones and just keep moving, because I think that's more effective, especially early on when you're learning something, is to do that. Here's a study that I did a little early on. I spent a lot of time on it, and then I did it again. Spent a little bit more time on it. I think I did a little bit of like tracing just to see how off my lines were. So that I spent a long time doing that as well. Looks like there were some 1-minute sketches here too. It's probably my second day of doing the sketches. So these were 1 minute. These were 2 minutes. These probably were 5 minutes, which look worse than the 2 minutes. So I think the 2-minute ones seem to be pretty effective. The one's not quite enough to get there, but enough to lay out and sketch in quickly. And then the 5-minute ones start doing more details, trying to correct and fix things more often. And then this was probably a 5 or 10 minute, probably a 10-minute one. It's pretty good. And then this one was probably, to start, it was 20 minutes, but it probably ended up being closer to an hour. I don't know for sure. Some 1-minute ones, some 2-minute ones, which are pretty dang good. I think these are 5-minute ones. A little more focus on some of the details in the face, but I think sometimes getting a little carried away can make it look worse. It's probably a 10-minute one. And this was probably probably started as a 21 and moved to a 30-minute one, maybe an hour. Because I came back through it to it for multiple days. There's another 1-minute studies, all up by 2-minute ones, and 2 5s and a 10. They look way different. I think this 10 is actually really good. 20-minute one. Again, I got carried away. Some of the lines are a bit heavy. You want to, for some features, you want them to be a little softer and less dark. Here's a value study one. It's okay. This is one of my earlier ones, so that was like August 11th. So still not bad. And these are not all in a specific order. I'm doing my best. And then I decided to do some eye studies. 1-minute studies. 2-minute studies. And the 1-minute and 2-minute ones are probably the most addicting drawings to do. Is because you draw one, it's like, okay, how do I do this better? And you do it very quickly. And you move on to the next one. 5-minute ones. I really like focusing on a specific detail. Maybe I will do that for noses or mouths. But I was really just struggling with eyes, so I wanted to focus on those. Started to draw some faces with the eyes as well. More eye studies for another day after that. Then I think I did like another whole face. Yeah, it was that face. My face is definitely wider than that. Then I kind of made another one from imagination to see how I could do it. And then I colored it. And that seemed to come out okay. Okay, 3 days of eye studies. More trying to draw like pencil almost. For most of my drawings, I've been using the soft round brush pressure size. Their face. Not terrible. And I tried doing some more made up eyes, some cartoony ones, just to kind of push it a little bit. I think this was a face study down here too. I did. This one I spent a lot of time on. So eventually I started slowing down and doing longer studies until I just felt like they were done. Some of them I would come back to for different days or different parts of the day. And this one came out pretty well. Line drawing and then painted it in. And the painting took me probably at least an hour. So that took a while. Here's a couple more studies. I'm not going to break down each layer. This one I think I messed around with the hair a little bit. So maybe I'll do a little. I just tried playing with color adjustments just to kind of see if I could change the hair color pretty quickly. And it looked like I could. And then another face. And this one, it's okay, but I think I redrew some of it. And yeah, there's several layers. I don't know what exactly is going on. Oh, that was creepy. Several layers to it, so I don't... See, I even took one head over and kind of liquefied tool a little bit. just to play with that. And then we had my best of drawings for the month of August. That is 1 month down with my portrait drawing. I did draw a couple guy faces, but I just like to draw women better. I think they're more challenging to make them look young but not too old, because if you get too much details, they start looking old. I think if you're going to draw men, you're going to try and draw them a little older. They're going to have more sharper features. I have done some. I'll probably eventually get around to doing it. But that is my best of August. I think I made some pretty good improvements over the months, over the 1 month. So here's where I started. I probably could have included this one. This one's alright. Spent a lot of time on it, and then I ended with these ones. Started the month off with some imaginary sketches. I think that's all I did for that day. And then the next day, I started doing studies again. I think I was using, I don't know if I was using Pinterest or not that day. But I did a few, just 4 of them. I don't know how long I spent on them, but these eyes right here look awful. This one on the left where it's kind of like a crunched up face, scrunched face, I thought was pretty good, considering how the facial features were. And then I did a few more, varying different facial expressions a little bit. She's kind of smiling here. This one's kind of looking at you judgmentally, and this one's just kind of like, what? So I eventually got faster and just blew through them, and each day just kept seeming similar. And I didn't do it every single day, but most days. This one. So here's a few more drawings that I did. I think these two drawings on the right are the same, like, photo shoot op type thing. I use as a reference. This left one, I did a lot of shading with just a single line size. It came out alright. I like it. And these other two look nice. And then I did paint these with trying a different technique. Yeah, it still needs the lines to look good, so it's fine. I still like how it came out. That one was pretty cool. Like the lighting, I played around with how the different colors worked. And yeah, I probably spent about an hour on this, plus another half hour to 45 minutes coloring this one as well. Next day, there's a hand in it. A little hard to tell what's going on. I think there's hair that came down here, which honestly I wouldn't draw that because it just kind of breaks the face a little bit. Okay, I started with that one on the left. I drew these 3. Started playing with, instead of using gray, started using some color. So it almost looks like a color pencil sketch. So kind of a purple. See, this one here, the hair over the face looks okay. This one is just kind of a random line. Keep moving. I think some of these are imaginative. These were all imaginative face studies. And then I tried to make a simplified version of this face. They aren't studies, they're just sketches. And then I tried to think about how the hair would look from behind visually. Okay, I'm going to start showing some of my color ones. Which some of these weren't colored in the same day. So I did do some 1 minute ones after it's been a while since I did that. What the heck is going on here? I don't know how long these were, but I'm guessing I'm doing the 1 minute, 2 minute. These might be 5 minutes. These look like they could be 5 minutes as well. These look like they're probably 5 or 10. And then I did a longer one. And then I painted over it and painted and redrew. His eyes still are what I have problems with, but I like how the colors and the rendering of it mostly came out. There's still things that I'm not too pleased with. Then I did another one where I added a background. I changed the shirt a little bit. I think it was this. I'm not even bother showing it. The hair, that looks okay without the lines. It still needs a little more work, I would say. I would spend a little bit more time on it. The eyes look pretty decent there. Here's another face. Okay, a little too dark on some of the darks. Probably could have made this hair a bit lighter compared to the skin color. But still, it's alright. And this one, I like the lighting, except when I look closely, I don't like the eyes or this face so much. It's kind of messy looking. There's the line. I like the line here. I have this line drawn here to indicate shadow. So, I still like it, even though it's still a little rough and I could spend more time on these. I kind of just worked on them until I was done with them. And that's just how it goes sometimes. So I did a few studies. These look like they were studies. And then I just kind of tried to do a simplified drawing just to kind of see if I could, almost like a comic book style. And that did not take me hardly any time at all. So I'm getting more efficient with things and I'm simplifying stuff as I go. And I'm probably getting pretty tired for this section of the video, but oh well, I will push on and show you what I've done. More faces, sticking tongue out. These heads look a little smushed in. This one I think I spent a decent amount of time on, and I drew the hand. I like it. Just kind of going through them. I didn't even count them. I think there's more than 100 drawings here. So I accidentally did more than 100. A few more studies. That one's scary, but I'm going to show it anyways. There's a reason I had it hidden. And I think there's only a few more left I have done in the month of September. And it's October now, so I meant to make this video like a month ago, so I have twice as much. Maybe not twice as much, but I have a lot more to show. And I think I might save some from this month. I'm just gonna go through the end of September. A couple of face studies. Let me get rid of the color because there's a few in here. There's another color one in there. I like these. I like this bottom one quite a bit. I like the shadow. There's another one with color. I think was just freehand maybe. I think that head looks a little smushed. It's okay. And then I did some lines, painted, reshaped it, added some adjustments, which I think it looks fine as is. So here's another one that I colored. I like how the drawing came out. And then I colored it in, and I didn't care for it as much. I tried a little more textured brush, and I'm like, okay, what if I added a color and just start playing with it a little bit? It looks a bit messier, but I did like the idea of experimenting. So I'm starting to get in the phase of experimental stuff. I think that's the last one that we'll see that's colored for September. And then a couple more faces. And you can see the quality varies and it goes up and down. I just tried playing around with different features of the face. And a couple more stylized sketches. And that was the end of the month, I think. No, those weren't organized very well. I must have had a break for a while. Oh wait, here's another one. Here's the last color one, kind of freehand, painted painterly with a black background just to try something different. I definitely could see this as potential, but I think I was just kind of sketching some random day. So there's a handful of good ones. I think my improvement was way less the second month, but there were still some minor improvements because I got better at doing the color and painting it a bit more. But that is what I've got, and maybe I'll follow up as I try and experiment and stylize things more. And until next time, Dartagon out.